Alrighty, so this is a revision video for veterinary general pathology. This is the first video containing various topics of veterinary general pathology. Let us start. So what is pathology? Before moving to veterinary pathology, let us understand what is pathology. So study of the pathology, simplest definition is it's the study of disease. Okay, but one more definition is the study of structure and functions of a body in disease condition. That is called pathology. And when we apply this definition, when we add domestic animals here, so that will become veterinary pathology. Okay, so what is the study of structure in normal condition? Veterinary anatomy. Study of function in normal condition, veterinary physiology. And study of structure and function in disease condition, pathology. And when we add a domestic animal, then it will become veterinary pathology. Okay, now we will move on to some pathological terms. First is etiology. Etiology, it is defined as a cause of disease. मतलब किस वजह से तुम्हें disease हो रही है, animal को disease हो रही है, what is the cause for that disease. So there are two types. Etiologies or etiological factors are of two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic is also called genetic, endogenous or predisposing, and extrinsic also called acquired or exogenous. So this whole is a separate chapter, so we will move on, we will do the chapter somewhat later. Okay, so next term is pathogenesis. Pathogenesis is defined as the progressive development of disease. That means from the time of the initiation of a disease to the time of its conclusion. Conclusion can be in three forms: recovery, death or invalidism. Okay, so pathogenesis, it is defined as the progressive development of disease from the time of its initiation to the time of its conclusion. Okay. Next is pathogenicity. It is the ability of an organism to cause disease. Simple. Symptom. Now there are two terms: symptom and clinical sign. Symptom and clinical signs. So let us try to understand these two definitions, symptom and clinical sign. So symptom का मतलब होता है वो चीज़ जो हम डॉक्टर को बताते हैं, जो हम डॉक्टर को बताते हैं लेमन टर्म्स में, सिंपल टर्म्स में, कि हमें बुखार हो रहा है, हमें खांसी हो रही है. एंड क्लिनिकल साइन का मतलब होता है कि जो डॉक्टर हमें साइंटिफिक टर्म्स में एक्सप्लेन करता है. दोज आर कॉल्ड क्लिनिकल साइंस. ओके, नाउ व्हाट इज सिंड्रोम? ग्रुप ऑफ सिम्टम्स. सिंपल. Example is AIDS. For example, we take the example of AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. It is a disease of mainly humans, but if we talk about this disease, then acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So it includes all the deficiency syndrome which are acquired during the immunological deficiency during the lifetime of an individual. The syndrome is group of symptoms. Okay. Next is clinical sign done. Lesion. So lesion, it is a very important definition. This definition is very important. So lesion, morphological alteration, morphological and structural alteration in a tissue as a result of disease. So what are the morphological? That is the changes that take place at its surface. है ना? What are the morphological changes and what are the structural changes? That is, what are the structural changes of which takes place within that cell, particular cell और टिश्यू एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ डिजीज़. मतलब बीमारी की वजह से सरफेस पे और इंटरनली क्या डैमेज हो रहा है, क्या ऑल्टरेशन, क्या चेंजेस आ रहे हैं. ऑल्टरेशन का मतलब चेंजेस किसी टिश्यू में, उसको बोलते हैं लीजन. ओके, तो लीजन आर ऑफ थ्री टाइप्स. सो फर्स्ट इज मैक्रोस्कोपिक, सेकंड इज माइक्रोस्कोपिक एंड थर्ड इज पैथोनोमिक लीजन. ओके, so macroscopic lesion, morphological alteration which can be seen with the naked eye without the help of microscope. Microscopic lesion which can be seen only with the help of a microscope. And pathonomic lesion, this is pathonomic, not pathognomic, it is pathonomic. G is silent. So pathonomic lesion, the lesion which indicates without the doubt the cause of disease. Okay, so for example, the presence of Negri bodies in the brain or cerebrum, or things so cerebrum and cerebellum and medulla of in the cerebellum and medulla of the rabies patient. The presence of Negri bodies is the pathonomic lesion for rabies. Okay. Next term is prognosis. Prognosis means probable outcome of a disease. What will be the outcome of a disease? Probably what will be the outcome of this disease when we check the patient. Okay. Next is postmortem or necropsy. So there are two terms, necropsy and autopsy. Autopsy is defined as a postmortem of humans. Okay. And necropsy is defined as the postmortem of animals and birds. So what is postmortem? Scientific examination of a tissue after death of animal. Simple. Okay. Next there are two terms, morbidity rate and mortality rate. So morbidity rate, percentage of animal affected by a particular disease in a population. So important here is percentage. Okay, percentage is very important, not number, it is percentage of animal which are affected, not died. Died is mortality rate, but affected is morbidity rate. So affected, percentage of animal affected in a particular by a particular disease in a population, in a whole population. And mortality rate, percentage of animal died in a particular disease in a population. Okay. Total population, not the affected animal, total population. So this is important. Next is biopsy. So biopsy, removal of a small piece of tissue from living body for examination. That is called biopsy. So for example, in case of human, the famous biopsy was done in case of celiac diseases, TTG. Okay, TTG is a test, biopsy. Okay. Biopsy, removal of a small piece of tissue from a living body or living animal for examination. Okay. Next is diagnosis. So diagnosis is the art of precisely knowing the cause of disease through various laboratory aids or help. Okay. So diagnosis क्या आता है कि हम एक प्रिसाइजली हम पता कर रहे हैं एक डिजीज़ के कॉज को हम पता कर रहे हैं बहुत सारी लेबोरेटरी हेल्प की मदद से, लेबोरेटरी टेस्ट और फंक्शंस की मदद से हम पता कर रहे हैं कि क्या डिजीज़ है, जो डिजीज़ का कॉज क्या है उसको हम पता करना चाह रहे हैं, उसको बोलते हैं डायग्नोसिस. ओके, लेट्स मूव अहेड. सो नेक्स्ट इज morbid changes. So morbid changes, these are changes which takes place in the body after death. Simple. Next is branches of pathology. This question is also very important. They can ask in the question paper, subjective also, subjective only. They can ask that mainly in subjective that what are the different branches of pathology and define them. So there are almost 12 branches of pathology. So let us try to understand these terms. So first is general pathology, which we are studying right now. Okay. So general pathology, it is concerned with the basic alteration of tissues in response to injurious stimuli. Let us try to understand this definition. कि जनरल पैथोलॉजी उस चीज़ से डील करता है कि ऑल्टरेशन का मतलब होता है चेंजेस, कि किसी भी टिश्यू या सेल के अंदर क्या चेंज हो रहे हैं किसी इंजरी की वजह से, या इंजीरियस स्टिमुलाई किसी इंजीरियस एजेंट की वजह से किसी सेल या टिश्यू के अंदर क्या चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, उसे बोलते हैं जनरल पैथोलॉजी. ओके. ना स्पेशल पैथोलॉजी, जो भी हमने जनरल पैथोलॉजी में पढ़ा है उसकी एप्लीकेशन किस में, उसकी एप्लीकेशन किसी एक पर्टिकुलर डिजीज़ में, उसको बोलते हैं स्पेशल पैथोलॉजी. सो एप्लीकेशन ऑफ जनरल पैथोलॉजी टू अ पर्टिकुलर डिजीज इज कॉल्ड स्पेशल पैथोलॉजी. ओके. नेक्स्ट इज सिस्टमिक पैथोलॉजी. सो इट इज़ द स्टडी ऑफ ऑल्टरेशन इन अ पर्टिकुलर सिस्टम. ओके. तो स्टडी ऑफ चेंजेस ड्यू टू डिजीजेज इन अ पर्टिकुलर सिस्टम इज कॉल्ड सिस्टमिक पैथोलॉजी. ओके, दैट इज कॉल्ड सिस्टमिक पैथोलॉजी. नेक्स्ट इज केमिकल पैथोलॉजी. सो केमिकल पैथोलॉजी मतलब कि डिजीज़ की वजह से बॉडी के फ्लूइड्स में क्या क्या चेंजेस हो रहे हैं उसको बोलते हैं केमिकल पैथोलॉजी. सो व्हाट आर द चेंजेस टेकिंग प्लेस और ऑल्टरेशन टेकिंग प्लेस इन द बॉडी फ्लूइड्स ड्यू टू अ सर्टेन डिजीज. सिंपल ना. ओके. ओके. सो नेक्स्ट वी मूव ऑन टू दिस, दैट इज मैक्रोस्कोपिक पैथोलॉजी. मैक्रोस्कोपिक पैथोलॉजी वेरी सिंपल. मैक्रोस्कोपिक पैथोलॉजी स्टडी ऑफ टिश्यूज by postmortem without the help of microscope. So these terms are very important. By postmortem without the help of microscope. And microscopic pathology study of alteration in the tissue with the help of microscope. Simple. ओके. नेक्स्ट इज कंपेरेटिव पैथोलॉजी. सो कंपेरेटिव पैथोलॉजी का मतलब होता है कि हम एनिमल्स के अंदर डिजीज को स्टडी कर रहे हैं, उसके पैथोलॉजिकल बेसिस को स्टडी कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद उसको कंपेयर कर रहे हैं मेडिकल फिजियोलॉजी के साथ, मतलब ह्यूमन पैथोलॉजी के साथ, नॉट फिजियोलॉजी. आई हैव रिटन दिस रॉन्ग, हियर शुड बी पैथोलॉजी, आई एम सॉरी. ओके. सो कंपेरेटिव पैथोलॉजी क्या होता है कि हम एनिमल के डिजीजेस पढ़ रहे हैं फिर उसको कंपेयर कर रहे हैं मेडिकल पैथोलॉजी के साथ, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड कंपेरेटिव पैथोलॉजी. ओके. नेक्स्ट न्यूट्रिशनल पैथोलॉजी. न्यूट्रिशनल पैथोलॉजी स्टडी ऑफ डिजीजेज एज अ रिजल्ट, मतलब दैट टेक्स प्लेस बिकॉज ऑफ आइदर एक्सेस ऑफ अ न्यूट्रिएंट और डेफिशिएंसी ऑफ अ न्यूट्रिएंट. कोई भी ऐसी डिजीज़ उसका हम पैथोलॉजिकल बेसिस पढ़ रहे हैं किसी ऐसी डिजीज़ का जो कि हो रही है किसी न्यूट्रिएंट की कमी की वजह से या न्यूट्रिएंट की एक्सेस की वजह से, उसको बोलते हैं न्यूट्रिशनल पैथोलॉजी. दैट इज कॉल्ड न्यूट्रिशनल पैथोलॉजी. ओके. ओके. I don't know why this flash turned off, but anyways. Okay. So next is clinical pathology, study of disease process with the help of various laboratory aids. जब हम किसी बीमारी के पैथोलॉजिकल बेसिस को समझते हैं किसी ना किसी लेबोरेटरी हेल्प की मदद से, उसको बोलते हैं क्लिनिकल पैथोलॉजी. दैट इज कॉल्ड क्लिनिकल पैथोलॉजी. ओके. ओके. सो नेक्स्ट ब्रांच इज कॉल्ड फोरेंसिक पैथोलॉजी. सो फोरेंसिक पैथोलॉजी स्टडी ऑफ डिजीजेस फॉर वेटर और लीगल पर्पस. सिंपल. Immunological pathology. अच्छा, immunological pathology is defined as that branch of pathology in which we study the diseases which have an immunological basis, जिसका immunity से related relation होता है कुछ, उन बीमारी को पढ़ने को बोलते हैं immunological pathology. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट एक्सपेरिमेंटल पैथोलॉजी. सो वो इसी ब्रांच होती है पैथोलॉजी, एक्सपेरिमेंटल पैथोलॉजी वो ब्रांच होती है जिसमें कि हम लीजन को, जो लीजन्स होते हैं उनको हम जान पूछ के हम ऑन पर्पस इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं किसी एनिमल के अंदर, लेबोरेटरी एनिमल जैसे माउस, हैमस्टर, इन सब के अंदर, गिनी पिग के अंदर, ताकि हम उसको स्टडी कर सकें, तो उसको बोलते हैं एक्सपेरिमेंटल पैथोलॉजी. ओके. सो नेक्स्ट इज सेल इंजरी एंड सेल डेथ. सो दिस चैप्टर सेल इंजरी एंड सेल डेथ, दिस चैप्टर इज वेरी लार्ज इन जेल वेगार्ड, but since this is the first revision video, so we will be covering this chapter in various parts. So here are some parts of this chapter. Okay. So father of cellular pathology and father of pathology both is Rudolf Virchow. This is important. Okay. So why is Rudolf Virchow called father of cellular pathology? Because he explained that all the forms of injury start at the cellular level. All forms of injury start at the cellular level. Okay. So that is why he is called as the father of cellular pathology. Okay. Now we try to understand this statement that normal cell lives in a hostile environment. What is the meaning of this statement? that hostile means dangerous. So one example to prove this is that the concentration of calcium ions outside the cell is 10,000 times more than inside of the cell. सेल के बाहर कैल्शियम की कंसंट्रेशन कैल्शियम आयंस की 10,000 टाइम ज़्यादा होती है जितनी सेल के अंदर है. सेल के अंदर कम है, इसका अंदर सेल को कम ही चाहिए कैल्शियम, ज़्यादा नहीं चाहिए नॉर्मल कंडीशंस में. सो इफ दैट ऑल दैट कैल्शियम विल एंटर इनटू द सेल देन द सेल विल डाई. सो दैट इज व्हाई द सेल लिव्स इन अ हॉस्टाइल और डेंजरस एनवायरनमेंट. ओके, next now there are some definition related to this chapter. The first is homeostasis, next second is adaptation. Homeostasis is the ability of animal's body or animal to maintain a constant internal environment. Simple. मतलब बाहर से उसको कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, बॉडी बाहर टेम्परेचर क्या है, एम्बियंट यानी सराउंडिंग टेम्परेचर क्या है, उससे एनिमल बॉडी इज़ नॉट अफेक्टेड एंड द इंटरनल बॉडी टेम्परेचर ऑफ एनिमल इज कॉन्स्टेंट. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड होमियोस्टेसिस. वन एग्जाम्पल. नेक्स्ट इज एडेप्टेशन. Adaptation, so it is a property of a cell due to which it modifies its structure and function in response to changing stress. ओके, जब भी कोई स्ट्रेस आता है तो सेल अपना स्ट्रक्चर और फंक्शन किस तरीके से चेंज कर लेता है उसको बोलते हैं अडेप्टेशन. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड अडेप्टेशन, द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ अ सेल ड्यू टू विच इज मॉडिफाइड स्ट्रक्चर एंड फंक्शन इन रिस्पॉन्स टू चेंजिंग स्ट्रेसेस. ओके, लेट्स मूव अहेड. ओके, next is hypertrophy. Hypertrophy increase in cell size, hyperplasia increase in cell number, and atrophy decrease in cell size. Okay. Next, what is cell injury? So the name of the chapter is cell injury and cell death. So what is cell injury? How will you define cell injury? So it is if the adaptive capacity or capability is exceeded of the cell is exceeded, or when adaptation is not possible, then a sequence of regressive changes takes place, collectively called cell injury. Let us try to understand this. So what is cell injury? जब भी कोई ऐसी चोट या इंजरी होती है सेल में जो कि रिवर्सिबल नहीं है, सॉरी ऐसे नहीं, लेट मी एक्सप्लेन इन अ डिफरेंट वे. जब भी कोई एडेप्टिव कैपेसिटी, मतलब अडेप्ट करने की कैपेबिलिटी या कैपेसिटी सेल की एक्सीड हो जाती है, एक लिमिट तक सेल, ऑब्वियसली बात है, एक लिमिट तक सेल एक अडेप्ट कर सकता है, पर जब उसकी कैपेसिटी एक्सीड हो जाती है अडेप्ट करने के लिए, और यानी कि जब अडेप्टेशन पॉसिबल ही नहीं है किसी केस में, तो उस केस में कुछ रिग्रेसिव चेंजेस होते हैं टिश्यू के अंदर या सेल के अंदर, जिसे बोलते हैं सेल इंजरी. ओके, सो व्हेन द अडेप्टिव कैपेसिटी ऑफ अ सेल इज इंक्रीज और एक्सीडेड, और व्हेन द adaptations are not possible, then a series of retrogressive changes takes place in the tissue or cell, that is called cell injury. Okay, now there is one term that is called point of no return. So with severe or persistent stress, the cell reaches the point of no return. When cell reaches this point or point of no return, that this means it has undergone cell injury, irreversible type of cell injury. Okay, so what is the meaning of point of no return? कि when a cell has undergone any type of injury, okay, when a cell has undergone any type of injury, then it is then it can reverse itself, it can heal itself, but sometimes it may reach that point where it will get irreversibly damaged. So that is called point of no return. After that the cell will die. Okay. Next is patterns of cell death. So this is also important. So patterns of cell death, so there are two patterns of cell death: necrosis and apoptosis. Necrosis is a localized death, cell death, or localized death of a tissue, and apoptosis is programmed cell death. Simple. Okay. Next is, now this is one point, there's a whole other chapter in veterinary general pathology for necrosis, but this point is very important, so let us discuss this. Most common type of necrosis is coagulative necrosis. So let me explain this. I will not read this, I will just explain this. In coagulative necrosis, what happens that the overall architecture, the outer architecture of or structure of the cell is intact, but the inner structural details are lost. मतलब जैसे एक अगर रूम को हम कंसिडर करें, रूम के अंदर एक कमरे को हम पूरा सेल मान लें, तो एक कमरे की जो बाउंड्री है, वॉल है चारों, और छत और फ्लोर, वो तो इंटैक्ट रहेंगे, पर अंदर की जितने भी उसके फीचर्स होते हैं, जितने डिज़ाइंस होते हैं रूम में, वो सब खत्म हो चुके होंगे. दैट इज कॉल्ड कोगुलेटिव नेक्रोसिस. ओके, so that was patterns of cell injury death. Next is models of cell injury. Okay, those are the patterns in which the cell will die, and these are the models with the, because in the manner of which this cell injury will take place. Okay, so there are two models: ischemic plus hypoxia and free radical cell injury. Okay, let us try to discuss this one. We will discuss in this video, this one in another video. So this one we will discuss is ischemic plus hypoxic cell injury. Okay, wait. Okay, let us start. So ischemia plus hypoxia, so that will lead to direct cell damage. We will understand why, but let us focus here. One more point is there. What is ischemia? What is hypoxia? So ischemia is defined as the loss of blood supply to a tissue. Hypoxia is defined as the loss of oxygen supply to a tissue. So which type of injury is more dangerous, ischemic or hypoxic? So ischemic type of injury is more dangerous. It is because of the fact that in hypoxia only there is a deficiency of oxygen, but in ischemia there is deficiency of both blood and oxygen, so metabolic substrates are also not found. So that is why ischemic injury is more harmful than hypoxic cell injury. Okay. Now oxidative phosphorylation will decrease. Oxidative phosphorylation is the process when ischemia or hypoxia will take place and oxidative phosphorylation will decrease. Oxidative phosphorylation is the process with the help of which or by which ATP synthesis takes place. Okay. Now ATP will decrease and now because when oxidative phosphorylation will decrease, then ATP will decrease and AMP will increase. Adenosine triphosphate will decrease and adenosine monophosphate will increase. Now why is this the formation of adenosine monophosphate harmful to the cell? It is harmful to the cell because of the fact that AMP is produced in a cell when there is a deficiency of energy in a cell. But since AMP is increasing, the concentration of AMP is increasing in the cell, it means that the cell is continuously running on low energy. That is why the formation of AMP, continuous formation of AMP is harmful. Okay. Now when AMP will decrease, then three effects will take place in a cell. First is dysfunction of sodium-potassium pump. So in order to understand this, the dysfunction of sodium-potassium pump, we first need to understand that in what manner, what is the normal function of the sodium-potassium pump. So normal function of sodium-potassium pump is to throw out 3 sodium and take in 2 potassium in normal conditions. But in dysfunction, this will lead to the रिवर्सिंग ऑफ द फंक्शन ऑफ सोडियम पोटेशियम पंप. मतलब सोडियम पोटेशियम पंप का फंक्शन रिवर्स हो जाएगा, अपोजिट हो जाएगा, उल्टा हो जाएगा. तो इसकी वजह से क्या होगा, सोडियम एंड वाटर तो अंदर आएगा, सोडियम और कैल्शियम अंदर आते रहेंगे क्योंकि कैल्शियम की कंसंट्रेशन बाहर 10,000 टाइम्स ज़्यादा है. सो कैल्शियम विल मूव इन and sodium will also move in because there is a dysfunction of sodium potassium pump. Now when ions are moving, solute is moving, so solvent, that is water, will also move into the cell. This will lead to water movement within the cell and this will lead to cellular swelling. And cellular swelling is the first step in most of the cell injury. This is the very important point, very important objective question. Cellular injury or cellular swelling is the first step in most of the cell injuries. Okay. So this was the first effect of ATP decrease, that is dysfunction of sodium potassium pump. Second is anaerobic glycolysis. So anaerobic glycolysis, increase in the production of lactic acid. Anaerobic glycolysis will increase in the and will lead to the increase in production of lactic acid. Now when lactic acid will increase, then pH will decrease. Obviously acid production is increasing, so pH will decrease. Now this pH decrease will lead to the clumping or गुच्छा बन जाना of nuclear material. तो clumping of nuclear material हो जाएगा when pH will decrease. Okay. Next, other effects. So there are some other effects also. For example, conversion of polyribosome into monoribosome. This will also take place because of pH decrease. Okay. So क्योंकि polyribosome क्या होता है, mRNA को बहुत सारे राइबोसोम जुड़ जाते हैं, तो that is called polyribosome. ठीक है. So that will get converted to monoribosome. Polyribosome, the function of polyribosome is the translation or production of proteins. So what will happen, this will lead to decrease in protein synthesis, okay, and increase in lipid metabolism. Simple. Okay. Not till here, this is a reversible cell injury, but from here after this, irreversible cell injury will take place. So let us understand that. Okay. Now ischemia or hypoxia, so decrease ATP production and increase cytosolic calcium. So why decrease ATP production? We just saw an increased cytosolic calcium because of 2 reasons. So now first let us discuss this. Decrease ATP production because ATP production is decreasing because there is no oxygen and no substrates. So now what will happen, this leads to decreased phospholipid production. Now since ATP is not present, so nothing will be able to form, but we will focus on phospholipid because phospholipid are present in cell membrane. They are an integral part of cell membrane. So since phospholipid are depleting, so there will be membrane damage. Okay. Okay. Now next is increased cytosolic calcium. So this is because of 2 reasons. So due to membrane damage, now what will happen, what is the meaning of this statement that increased cytosolic calcium? So increased cytosolic calcium means that the calcium साइटोप्लाज्म में कैल्शियम कंसनट्रेशन इंक्रीज हो जाएगा, बढ़ जाएगा. इसके 2 रीजन है. पहला रीज़न है कि मेम्ब्रेन डैमेज की वजह से जो एक्स्ट्रा सेलुलर कैल्शियम है अंदर आता जा रहा है, कोई रोकने के लिए है ही नहीं मेम्ब्रेन उसके लिए. ओके. और सेकंड है इस्चीमा हाइपोक्सिया जब भी होता है, हमें याद रखना है कि माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया और एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम के अंदर जितना भी कैल्शियम है वो सब साइटोप्लाज्म में आ जाता है. So all the calcium present within the mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum will flood out into the cytoplasm in case of hypoxia or ischemia. Okay. Now, because of this increased cytosolic calcium, what will happen? This increased cytosolic calcium will activate 2 enzymes. The first is phospholipase, second is protease. Protease will digest the protein of cell membrane. Phospholipase will digest the protein of phospholipid of cell membrane. So this will lead to irreversible membrane damage. Okay. Okay. Now when the membrane damage will take place, then more of the calcium will be influxed into the cell. Now this will lead to mitochondrial dysfunction. Okay, this is the effect of increased cytosol calcium. That first step is that it will lead to mitochondrial dysfunction. Second, it will lead to lysosomal dysfunction. We know that lysosomes contain digestive enzymes. So when lysosome dysfunction will take place, then lysosome will release all the digestive enzyme into the cytoplasm, and this will digest the whole of the cell. Obviously it will digest the whole cell because it contains every type of digestive enzymes, but it will not digest fat of the cell. So fat will appear as myelin fiber. So these are the fat of the cell. So these myelin fiber can have two fate. इनकी दो मतलब फेट इन हिंदी, इनके दो परिणाम हो सकते हैं, मतलब इनके दो रास्ते हो सकते हैं कहाँ जाएंगे, इनकी दो डेस्टिनी हो सकती है इनकी. तो पहली है दे कैन बी फैगोसिटाइज, मतलब दे कैन बी फैगोसिटाइज बाय मैक्रोफेजेस, एंड सेकंड इज दे कैन बी डीजेनरेटेड. तो जब भी डीजेनरेट करे जाते हैं तो कैल्शियम और फैटी एसिड में इनको ब्रेक करा जाता है, जिनको कॉमनली हम बोलते हैं कैल्शियम फॉस्फेटेज. ओके, सो इस वीडियो के लिए इतना ही. नेक्स्ट विल मूव ऑन टू सेकंड रिवीजन वीडियो लेटर.